Life is a series of calm moments until one of them breaks. From a fuel tanker bursting into flames in Brazil, catching locals off guard, to a truck driver in Mexico who didn't spot the train speeding toward him, to a hot air balloon ride in Pennsylvania that never got off the ground, and a 120-foot monument in India that came crashing down during a 500-year-old ceremony. These are 15 moments captured just seconds before everything went super horribly wrong. Number 15. Turkey's gold mine turns deadly. On February 13, 2024, one of Turkey's largest mining disasters unfolded at the Çöpler gold mine in Erzincan province. A mountain of heap leach waste, over 350 million cubic feet of it, collapsed and thundered down a 600-foot slope. The earth didn't just give way, it erupted. The landslide was violent, fast, and utterly devastating. Çöpler is operated by SSR Mining, a joint Turkish and Colorado-based company. In 2012, they planned to extract over 10 million ounces of gold by 2019, but by 2022, the mine still held nearly 48 million tons in mineral reserves. At 9 a.m., workers noticed cracking in the leaching field and sounded the alarm. The evacuation began, but 9 people, 3 supervisors, a truck driver, and 5 workers, never made it out. All were killed. Authorities later arrested 12 individuals, including executives and on-site managers. Experts had warned the mine repeatedly. It wasn't just a landslide, it was the deadly result of ignored safety alerts and corporate negligence, caught in horrifying clarity on video. Number 14. The 2016 Pennsylvania balloon crash. A trio of balloon riders in Gordonville expected a quiet flight over Amish farmland. What they got was a shaky takeoff and a crash landing. It happened in February 2016 near the Harvest Drive Family Inn, just 60 miles west of Philadelphia. A pilot with 2 ladies on board fired up the burner while volunteers pushed the basket off the ground. The balloon floated only briefly before rapidly deflating and crashing into a nearby building. Onlookers rushed to help. One of them, filming the entire ordeal, happened to be a French tourist narrating the event as it unfolded. The basket slammed into the building's roof before dropping to the ground. Fortunately, all 3 passengers escaped without injury. Volunteers later removed the tangled balloon from the roof. What started as a peaceful ride ended with a hard lesson in how fast things can unravel when the air leaves the balloon. Literally. The town's annual festival continued, but this one flight won't be forgotten. Number 13. Myanmar's firework balloon explosion. In Taungyi, the Tazongdang Festival of Lights celebrates the end of monsoon season with a chaotic tradition: unmanned hot air balloons stuffed with fireworks. On November 14, 2018, one balloon packed with far too many pyrotechnics barely made it off the ground. What was meant to be a glowing spectacle became a terrifying firestorm. Hundreds of festival-goers watched as the overloaded balloon caught fire mid-launch. The fireworks didn't light the sky. They detonated downward, directly into the crowd. Screams echoed as people scattered. 9 were injured, and many more narrowly escaped. This wasn't the first time this happened. Similar accidents occurred in 2009, 2013, 2014, and 2017. Still, anyone with access can build these balloons and load them with up to 130 pounds of fireworks. It's unregulated, unpredictable, and dangerous. The visuals are breathtaking, until they go wrong, and when they do, they go wrong fast. Yet every year, locals still gather, hoping their balloon won't be the next one to blow up on takeoff. Number 12. Train collision in Leon, Mexico. Back in 2018, a busy intersection in Leon turned into the setting of a near tragedy. A semi-truck tried to cross the rail tracks at the worst time. The conductor leaned on the horn to warn all nearby, but the truck kept moving. There were no crossing arms or visible lights, just an open road and a fast-approaching train. The truck driver, possibly distracted or unaware, made it halfway across before getting clipped. The impact struck the rear, spinning the trailer sideways. Nearby drivers screamed as they hit the brakes. A bystander filming from a car captured the moment just before the train hit. Thankfully, the driver survived, and the truck wasn't completely destroyed. But this wasn't a freak accident. Leon has seen multiple crashes at similar crossings due to poor infrastructure. Locals say the warning systems are inconsistent, and the lack of barriers has led to repeated collisions. One mistake, 1 second off, and it could have ended much worse. Number 11. Cebu Theater Ceiling Collapse. Dreamscape Networks, an IT company with global offices, hosted a relaunch event on June 15, 2015, inside a newly built theater in Cebu City, Philippines. The gathering pulled in over 350 people. Things went smoothly until attendees heard a loud crack overhead. Water poured from the ceiling. A sprinkler system had failed, and the wooden tiles above them were saturating fast. Moments later, a section of the ceiling gave way. Debris fell across rows of guests, some of whom were pinned beneath wreckage. The staff panicked. Many fled. Dreamscape's CEO, Mark Evans, stayed. He and a few managers waded through water and debris to pull guests out. 9 people were hospitalized with minor injuries, but all survived. Later investigations blamed the incident on waterlogged acoustic panels and poor emergency response from venue staff. If it weren't for the quick thinking of those who stayed behind, this would have ended much worse. Number 10. The 120-foot chariot collapse in Bangalore. In Bangalore, the Husk Matarama Temple Chariot Fair is an annual Hindu celebration where big wooden chariots, some over 100 feet tall, are pulled through city streets by teams of oxen and hundreds of volunteers. On April 6, 2024, during the 500-year-old event, disaster struck. A towering 120-foot chariot being hauled through the streets suddenly leaned off course when one of its wheels sank into soft soil. Gravity didn't hesitate. The entire structure tipped and crashed. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Locals, determined to finish what they started, somehow dragged the wrecked chariot to its final stop to continue the celebration. In the past, hundreds of these enormous structures would fill the streets. Today, seeing just one is rare, and watching one collapse like this makes it even more surreal. Despite the fall, thousands from surrounding villages stood by like Tank Man, refusing to let the mishap ruin the spirit and fun of the event. Number 9. Gongyi Cave Collapse. In Gongyi, a county-level city in China's Henan province, landslides aren't rare during the rainy season, but this one was caught from start to finish. On August 10, 2021, a security camera outside a residential cave-style dwelling captured a quiet trickle of falling rocks. Seconds later, the entire cave structure crumbled. The rain had softened the ground for days. Pressure built until the weight was too much, and the hillside gave way. A thick wall of dust swallowed the camera view. No one was inside at the time. Residents had been evacuated earlier when cracks first appeared. Locals say people had lived in the cave until officials warned them to leave. Though no one was injured, the incident highlighted a harsh truth. Many rural homes in this region are carved from earthen hillsides. They're damp, fragile, and prone to failure. The video now serves as proof of how fast natural erosion can turn a house into rubble without warning. Number 8. Pingbian's dump truck disaster. Mr. Wang was just doing another routine haul through Pingbian Miao Autonomous County when things started to feel off. His truck was loaded heavily, maybe too heavily. He stopped to unload, but the back hatch jammed. Instead of coming loose, the weight shifted. The truck lifted, tilted, and then flipped like it had been kicked over by a giant. Footage from the car behind captured it all. The moment his cab slammed hard into the ground, wheels still spinning. Friends jumped out to drag him from the mess, bloodied but breathing. He made it, but the truck was mangled beyond repair. Police said it was a mix of bad loading and careless operation. No one's exactly sure who to blame, but the outcome's clear. One wrong angle, one jammed hinge, and a man nearly got buried inside his own truck. If the slope had been steeper or the speed higher, this wouldn't have been a recovery. It'd be a memorial. Number 7. Gas truck explosion in Paragominas, Brazil. July 7, 2024. Paragominas, Brazil. Traffic crawled to a stop on BR-010. Up ahead, a gas truck sat engulfed in flames. Drivers, journalists, and firefighters stood frozen on the opposite side of the highway, far enough to feel safe, close enough to see the threat. Nobody knew how much time was left before it blew. Then it happened. A fiery explosion ripped through the truck's shell, sending debris and a wave of heat across the road. Cameras caught the moment from several angles. Firefighters sprinted for cover. Nearby vehicles were rocked, but miraculously, no one died in the blast. Several people suffered burns and were rushed to nearby hospitals. The truck's driver was nowhere to be found. Authorities suspect he fled the scene before impact. Though the cause is still unknown, many believe the fire was preventable. Whether it was panic or guilt, the missing driver's silence left more questions than answers. What do you think about it? Number 6. Swarm of termites turns road into chaos. A swarm of flying termites isn't something most riders think about when they hit the road, but that's what turned a busy stretch in central Java into a pile-up zone on December 7, 2024. Hundreds of bugs spiraled around a streetlight, thick enough to look like smoke. Locals noticed. Some tried waving down the bikes. But motorcycles were already speeding in, unaware of what they were about to hit. Riders plowed into the cloud, visibility vanished, and helmets filled with insects. Tires slipped, brakes locked. In seconds, bodies and bikes were tangled across the road. Some people tried to crawl away. Others rolled into the ditch just to get out of the swarm. It looked like a freak storm had hit only one corner of the street. Later, entomologists confirmed it was a termite mating flight. Basically, a mass launch of bugs looking to start colonies. Wrong time, wrong place, and the road turned into something no one could have prepared for. Number 5. Suzhou's Sightseeing Ferry Slam. Suzhou, a major city in northern Anhui Province, China, sits where the Tuo and Shinan rivers meet. On September 20, 2024, after days of relentless rain across Jiangsu Province, the rivers swelled dangerously. Water levels surged so high that boats couldn't pass under the bridges, forcing most to dock and wait it out. But one wooden sightseeing ferry didn't get the memo. It broke free from its mooring and drifted straight into the path of a massive concrete bridge. In the classic wood versus concrete scenario, concrete won, hard. The ferry slammed into the bridge like it was paper hitting a wall. Witnesses said it had been tied to a dock upstream, but the current was too strong. The ropes snapped, and by the time anyone noticed, the boat was already moving too fast to stop. Luckily, nobody was on board when it hit. What was once a cheerful river cruise now looked more like a floating dumpster scraping through floodwaters. Number 4. Cracks in a dynasty's bones. The ancient walls around Xi'an have stood longer than most countries have existed. Built during the Ming Dynasty, they've been holding off time, weather, and modern traffic for centuries. But on one soaked August day in 2020, they finally gave out. There wasn't a bang, just a deep crack and a sickening slide of mud and bricks. Rain had soaked the base for days. People nearby said it looked like the earth just let go. Chunks of the structure dropped onto parked cars. 4 people were injured, not seriously, but the damage left a scar on more than just the city's layout. Xi'an's wall is a symbol. Watching part of it crumble shook something deeper than just concrete. Engineers had reinforced it years earlier and even added a canopy to deflect rain. But when a structure's held for 500 years, even good intentions aren't enough if the foundations start to slip. Number 3. Water tower collapse in Jianghua. The crew in Jianghua probably thought it would be another easy teardown on December 12, 2024. Just a crumbling water tower, already approved for demolition. Sichuan Bojuan Construction was in charge, with a rental crane brought in to handle the bulk. What no one saw coming was how fast the crane's boom would give way. It snapped mid-lift, throwing off the entire structure's balance. Concrete and steel came down hard, right onto the platform where Mr. Deng, a 29-year-old engineer, was monitoring dust suppression. He didn't stand a chance. Rescue teams tried, but he was already gone by the time they pulled the wreckage apart. Investigators later found that there had been zero formal safety plans, no load checks, and nothing resembling a coordinated demolition protocol. 2 people were arrested, and the project manager was suspended. One miscalculation turned a controlled demolition into a fatal collapse, not because of nature or freak timing, just plain, preventable human failure. Number 2. The ammonia leak that paralyzed Seward. Seward, Illinois wasn't prepared for what came spilling out of that tank. It was just another day at the local agricultural supply company. Workers were moving anhydrous ammonia when the hose split. No alarms, no warning siren, just a soft hiss that grew into a suffocating cloud of gas. People didn't run at first. They stared. Then the wind shifted. Car doors slammed, engines revved, and the lot cleared in under a minute. 1 firefighter was caught in it. So were several workers. 10 landed in the hospital with burns to their lungs and eyes. The gas crawled across the landscape, ghost-like. A white, cold fog that ate the air. Nobody in town expected it, least of all the families watching from their porches. Some described it as something out of a horror movie. Others said it felt like drowning while standing still. Seward shut down for days, not because of a fire or explosion, but because one hose didn't hold when it mattered. Number 1. Karma flips fast in Tempe, Arizona. On October 13, 2024, a hit-and-run in Tempe, Arizona, turned into a full-blown crash course in karma. A reckless driver rear-ended a father and daughter, then peeled off before they could exchange information. But the pair chased the car, filming everything as it happened. The driver responded with a middle finger and blew through a red light right into the side of a moving truck. The impact was brutal. Her car flipped multiple times before landing in a twisted heap. The father captured everything on camera, proof of the original hit-and-run and the violent conclusion. Emergency crews arrived quickly. Miraculously, the driver walked away and refused an ambulance. But her luck ended there. With the footage in hand, police pinned the blame squarely on her. Had she just stopped and exchanged insurance info, the incident might have cost a few $100. Now it's thousands in damage, legal trouble, and a lifetime reminder that sometimes, when you act like you're untouchable, life flips the script. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.